This is Zululand, a 5-week road trip along South Africa's wild east coast. We left Cape Town at the start of winter in our van, heading north in search of warmer water and tropical places. We had a plan, a few key stops and a final destination, the coastal town of St Lucia in KwaZulu-Natal. But even after doing a lot of research, it still felt like we were stepping into the unknown. Our first stop was Swartberg Pass, one of the most beautiful mountain passes in South Africa. I'd never seen it before, but Henku knew a great wild camping spot high up in the mountains. We spent the night there completely alone and the next morning drove down the pass while the sun came up. The views were unreal and we managed to get some amazing drone shots. From there, we drove through Maringspoort and rejoined the N1 and made our way to Gariep Dam, South Africa's largest water reservoir. It was a long drive, but the scenery around the dam surprised us. From Gariep Dam, we drove through Bloemfontein before taking the N8 turnoff towards Lesotho. The mountains started to appear in the distance and the scenery steadily became more impressive. So, Henku, where are we going?
There.
We are currently in Golden Gate National Park in KZN and it's really cold here. This morning we woke up to -5. Currently the landscape is quite dry, it's not as green as in summer. But yeah, we're about to go on a little short walk here from the rest camp where we stayed last night. We had planned to hike to Gela Falls and stay at Vitzi's Hook Mountain Lodge, but unfortunately I hadn't booked the shuttle in time and there were no spaces left for the day we wanted. On top of that, it was freezing and we weren't properly prepared for the conditions. We opted for a shorter drive and decided to stay at a nearby campsite. The next morning, we set off on a long drive all the way to St Lucia. St Lucia sits within the Isimangaliso Wetlands Park, and wild animals roam both the streets and the campsite. One of the best things to do here is a sunset river cruise on the estuary, where you can spot some of St Lucia's 800 hippos, the largest population in the country. Another highlight is a self-drive through Isimangaliso to see bigger wildlife, like elephants, rhinos and even leopards. Henku got lucky and spotted a leopard one morning while driving to Cape Vidal for a spearfishing session.
Yeah, second day of diving here at Cape Vidal. Hope it's going to be a good day. Yesterday I had quite strong southerly winds, so we'll see what the current is doing today. But hoping for some good fish. eintlik dood, genade. Maak jy hom dood? Wag.
During our time here, we explored the surrounding areas and made a weekend trip to Umfolozi Game Reserve, about 55 kilometers from St Lucia. We camped nearby so we could wake up at sunrise for a morning game drive, and even saw a lion in the distance. The next day, we drove 2.5 hours to Sodwana Bay, the scuba diving capital of South Africa. We camped in the national park, and the following day we went on a free diving trip with a local operator. The visibility wasn't the best, but it was still a memorable experience. It was an amazing month on the wild coast of KwaZulu-Natal. After Henku speared some of his biggest fish yet, I know we'll be back sooner rather than later.